I'd like to call the Committee on Budget back to order. We are on page 19 of the Executive Operating Budget. Members, once again, page 19 of the Executive Operating Budget that starts with Department of Emergency Management, including Emergency Management Coordination, and then moves on to Department of Planning and Permitting Building, as well as DTS's Transportation Engineering. Members, Chair would like to recommend to accept the amendments on page 19. Are there any questions for any of the departments, including emergency management, planning and permitting, and DTS? Let's see here. No? Okay. Any questions? Okay, one moment. Okay, members, I do want to also note that the restoration for transportation engineering was in the highway fund, and it increased or was restored back, as well as for building back, as well as emergency management back to it as well. Okay, with that, we accept those. Thank you very much. Moving on to page 20. Hold on, can't even. We are still in transportation engineering, and then transportation technology for DTS. And then in page 20 also includes Department of Emergency Services for administration. Members, are there any questions for page 20? As Chair recommends to accept the amendments on page 20. For the amendments on transportation engineering, it places it back into its current expenses, as well as for salaries, but it also adds a proviso for page 20, top of page 20, accept but amend amount and amend proviso to read at least 100,000 out of current expenses shall be appropriated for quick build projects in Council District 6 in accordance with the Oahu pedestrian plan. Any comments? Director Morton, may I have you come up here, please?
Roger Morton, Director of Transportation Services.
Thank you. This is in relation to the proviso of at least 100,000 of current expenses shall be appropriated for quick build projects in Council District 6. Oh, wow, in perfect timing. The Council District 6 council member is here in accordance with the Oahu pedestrian plan. Do you have any comments on that?
No objection.
No objection. Okay, Councilmember Dos Santos Tam, anything?
No objection, thank you.
Oh, any comments? Okay, all right, thank you very much. Any other comments or questions on page 20? Once again, we have transportation engineering, transportation technology, and the beginning of Department of Emergency Services for administration. And for administration for emergency services, we accepted the full restoration of salaries for Department of Emergency Services. Okay. All right, with that then, we're moving on, and we have accepted page 20 and those amendments. Moving on to page 21, we have the still the administration for Department of Emergency Services, as well as then moving on to emergency medical services, as well as ocean safety on page 21. Chair recommends to accept the amendments on page 21. So, okay, comments, and yes, Council Vice Chair Kia Aina.
Yes, I have a question for emergency services relating to the salaries for the positions for Kalama Beach Park. There's the proviso now says at least 2 positions shall be assigned to Kalama Beach Park Lifeguard Station. I just want to make sure, are we going to be okay? Because I understand that the equipment, the lifeguard tower has been accepted, is this going to be sufficient language for you to be able to staff up this tower?
Thank you, Chair and Vice Chair. In general, it's hard. It makes it a little harder for us when positions are directly tied to a region, a council district, or a tower. But having said that, generally for a tower to get adequately staffed, it takes about 7 full-time positions. Right now, our goal is to have all ocean safety, the whole division, on 410s, certainly by the end of the year, but the sooner the better, whether it's all at once or sequentially. That's number one. Meeting the dawn to dusk or extended hours program, 10-hour shifts. That's the priority number one. From last budget, we had a tower put in our budget for Electric Beach. So as far as new towers, that would be the priority as far as staffing, followed by potentially Kalama Beach. So to answer your questions, it would take 7 positions, but with our FRF funded positions, our contract positions, as well as the additions in this budget, we should be well on our way to getting that tower staffed. The procurement of a tower does, though, take 6 to 9 months. So my thought would be that would potentially be staffed by the end of the budget year, not right away in July.
Okay, so it's sufficient?
I believe it's sufficient.
Yes,
Thank you.
because the tower will be established, and then if necessary, then if it's not fully staffed, then for next fiscal year, I can fight for full staffing of this tower.
We'll fight together.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next Committee Vice Chair Wire, then followed by Councilmember Tupola. Yes.
Mahalo, Chair. And thank you, Director, for all your work in being here. I just wanted to double check, because I know that we have some full-time positions in there and the contract positions. And so is the administration committed to activating and trying to fill all the positions allocated for ocean safety in this upcoming budget?
You know, we have the good fortune of having a very low vacancy rate. And I don't know, you know, depending on how the money's released and the technical aspects of that, but, you know, my goal is to get the 410s covered on all the beaches as soon as possible this calendar year at the latest, but the sooner the better, maybe even this summer. And then again, look to expanding to the 2 towers I just discussed, but also either in this fiscal budget year or the next, Sharks Cove and 1 other North Shore tower. And then the next, I think, big need is the 4 additional rescue watercraft. But we'll want to do that sequentially because, again, we can only hire so fast. But my goal is to get all of this covered as soon as possible.
Okay, really appreciate that. And just to clarify, I think I heard you say by the end of the year, maybe even by this summer. Was that?
I mean, we have a plan drawn out to have so just to be clear, the department right now, the division, Hanauma Bay, District 5, as well as the mobile responders, the captains, communications are all on the 10-hour shifts already. So that leaves us with the other 4 tower districts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have an operational plan to have 1 and 2 to 410s, probably at the latest by July, awesome. With District 3 and 4, which is Waianae and the North Shore, at the latest in November, but maybe and hopefully sooner.
Awesome. Okay, appreciate that, Director. Mahalo, Chair.
Thank you. Director, I was wondering how long it took to stand up the Electric Beach lifeguard station.
Well, it's still not stood up yet. So we've procured the tower, and when that tower gets here, then it's a matter of deciding the best place to put it and then assigning the staff for it. Right now, that beach is covered by mobile responders.
Okay, understood. And how long has that process, how long ago did that process start to figure out where to acquire it and all of that?
I believe Councilmember Tupola put that in last year's budget for the tower. And so we accepted that with the idea that it would take up to a year to procure that and then with the staffing. So to answer your question, it takes about a year.
Wow, okay, thank you. And that's for the actual physical station?
Physical station, and then to allocate the necessary personnel to staff it.
Oh, got it, understood. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Councilmember Tupola?
Thank you so much. No, I don't necessarily have a question for the department, but on this last line item, ocean safety, for the deletion of the 10,000 out of the equipment, I did read a departmental communication 248 where they stated the department appreciates the additions, but we respectfully decline as we stand by the mayor's submitted balanced budget. We are working with the administration to ensure continued progress in achieving island-wide dawn to dusk while maintaining the mayor's budget. I just wanted to be clear that this is a container and has nothing to do with dawn to dusk. So if, if it's amenable to the chair, I do believe that this is the second year we put this in. I did try to get someone to donate the container. I asked a bunch of people if they would be willing to pay for it. We just need it to actually house the supplies that are at the beach park as opposed to transferring everything there. And I did speak with the chief of Ocean Safety Division. They still do need this. So if it pleases the chair, I would like that to be reinstated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have a question for the director relating to that. I don't know if it's for the director or if it would be for DPR, because I do recall in the last CD1 meeting, I had that note as well, that there is enough funding currently, I don't know who said that, please correct me if I'm wrong, to be able to do that for this fiscal year already. Councilmember Dupola.
I do remember the department saying that they might have the money, but when I met with the chief of Ocean Safety Division, they don't necessarily have the funds for this. They could, rob one area to give to this, but they don't necessarily have the funds cut out for this container. So I would love the department's support on this, as again, it is in the park area, but it is for Ocean Safety Division. So I did not get any green light from DPR that they'd be paying for.
Right, so we did have some savings with medical supplies in ocean safety, and part of that was related to, buying so much with CARES money in the pandemic and PPE. So we did have some extra money, like you said, in one area, but not necessarily the other, but I'm not opposed to putting that in.
So, Director, would that be under a different clause, like under administration, or you would leave it in ocean safety? Because you said for medical supplies, so is that in the Ocean Safety Division? Okay. Right,
but I'm not opposed to you adding this to our budget.
Okay.
My whole point is I think that we can do it right now, right, Director?
We're in the last month or two of the fiscal year, and we're moving money around and trying to cover things, shortfalls,